ladies, this is Katerina Pang from Bali with my cocktail. This is almost happy hours, not yet. So what am I going to say? I forgot now. So just to say hello, and I hope everyone has a nice evening or day wherever you are in the world. I know it's very late in the US, or very early in the morning. But let me just sip my cocktail first. So how are you today, ladies? We are on vacation here in Bali. My family and I took my family, which consists of my father and sister and nieces and nephews, for the long Muslim holidays that is coming on the 15th and 16th of this month. So happy Ramadan for my Muslim friends and clients and fans. Thank you for being here. So I would like to touch a very important subject today. So if you think that this subject might very well help people, please like or laugh this video or forward it to people that you know, your friends and probably family members, sisters, brothers who are depressed. So probably this show can, or this talk or this speech can help them get out of their predicament. So once again, my name is Katerina Pang. I'm the man whisperer and the last resort. Now I'm going to tell you in this class why I call myself the last resort. Okay, so there's music playing here on the background. Hopefully it's not going to be disruptive for our class. So before we start, as usual, Karina always has good news whenever she went away and it comes back, right? That is the tradition. So I was online broadcasting live from Japan, from Kyoto, like probably 2 weeks ago, and I announced a few, 4 or 5 engagements, and of course I came back with another piece of news of engagement involving Dee. Dee lives in New Zealand. Congratulations, Dee, and hopefully you have the relationship and the marriage you always wanted. And ladies, the funny thing is here, Dee came to me last June, right? And then she was showing me these long text messages she sent her EUM at that time, saying that I deserve better. You know, basically the things that you always do, right? Or you always did before you found me. Sending guys long text messages, expressing your feelings. So I said to her, that is not how you do it. Just get on my ebook, okay? Get on the program, and she did. She got the package with coaching that includes the 20-minute Skype, and she used it up. And weeks later, she met like her high school friend, long lost friend, and then they dated. And then less than a year later, now they're engaged. So you see, ladies, if you're not hung up on any particular guy, the world is so abundant. There are so many like awesome, beautiful, decent men out there. So don't get hung up on any particular guy, okay? So open your horizon. The world is such an abundant place, okay? Just date around. As a woman, your power is in your feminine receptivity. Okay, so do not chase, do not pursue, do not get so desperate. A lot of you are so desperate. Like, the more you are rejected, the more you are in love. That doesn't make sense, right? And the minute they want you, and you kind of like not so sure about it. You see, that is the nature of the ego, by the way. It's something that we're going to talk about in this class today, okay? And hello everyone. If you just tune in, please like or laugh or just react, you know, on this live video, so it goes to the news feed, so it gets to the people. You get more audience this way, and I also forward it to your friends, your family members who probably are depressed and anxious. I would like, probably I can help them. Who knows, right? So hi Heather, hi Sonia, Ivy, Deep. Deep is coming to the retreat. Yeah. And of course, ladies, please do not wait. The early bird specials are running out, filling out very, very soon. Come to my retreat. It will be on the Labor Day, August 30th until September the 4th. Come to the entire length of the retreat, and we're gonna go also on the wine tasting, because I happen to live in the wine country, which is great. So, other than the early bird special, if you sign up for the entire length of the retreat, which is like 3.5 full days or 3.5 days, you'll get also bonus programs valued at over $500. So you can, if you see on the link that I will post later, you can choose the bonus on the page, okay? Only if you come for the entire length of the retreat. What are you gonna learn in the retreat? You're gonna learn everything I've ever talked about in these live classes, in my blog posts, in the group, on my status updates, like tirelessly, endlessly. I always talk about the nature of the mind, about understanding oneself, about finding who you are at the core, because the minute you know who you are at the core, you can never get depressed again. You will very rarely experience anxiety and burnout and stress outs. You see, if you see me, I work all the time, even on vacation like this, on my trips, I always work, because I'm basically someone who just likes to do things on my own. I don't have staff. I have assistants for, as I said, for the website, but I don't have personal assistant. It's just the way I am. I don't know how or why. I just don't like supervising people. It's not in my nature. It's so much easier for me to deal direct with you guys, and that way we have a relationship. For me, business is about relationship. That's why I have a very strong and close relationship with most of you. If you have come to me for coaching, I most likely remember all your stories, your progress. That's why our relationships are very personal. Yeah, that's why also I guess my success comes from that, from the fact that I really care and I want to deal directly with you ladies. Okay, and so many success stories in the group, by the way. So I would just read one of them recently. Not only that I get to produce like one engagement a week on average, year after year, and it's been consistent the last 3 or 4 years. But I also help many of you save your relationships, save your marriages, get your exes back, and just improve your relationship in general, other than improve the sense of your well-being, whether or not you are single or in the relationship, married or not, single or not. Whatever I teach works for any setting in your life. Single, married, in relationship, divorce, in a situationship, etc. Okay, so I would like to read this email from One. One is a beautiful Malaysian lady. Hey, Malaysian ladies, we're neighbors here, who lives in Oman. So this is what she wrote me recently. Oh, she actually wrote in the group sharing her her marriage story. I found Karina in February 2018 when I was having a really mixed feeling about my marriage and was desperate for solution. Things did not go well between me and my husband, and I don't know whether to stay or to go. I consider myself an independent and strong Asian woman, and my husband is an alpha Arab man. It was difficult initially as I had set my expectations on him, and his is my second marriage. He too made few promises prior to our weddings. I knew my husband is a good man, and I love him, but somehow situation has changed him after the marriage, and I was hurting really badly. I sent Kat a very long email describing my situation, only to receive a very short reply from her. Let him be, and stop reminding him what you're not getting. Be his rock and loyal supporter. If after doing that a while, he's still the same, then ask for a divorce. In the ocean of troubles, be his sanctuary, so he can't afford to lose you. I was puzzled initially on how can I be his sanctuary when he did not treat me right. I bought and read Kat's book and tried to understand and practice what was taught in the video clips too. I really read and digested her almost every comments and post in this group. I can confidently say that I am now a goddess and a really happy one. I work on myself and my happiness. I didn't get into rotation stuff because I'm a Muslim and married, but I work on myself and what made me happy instead of thinking what I should do to make him happy. I lean back totally, mirroring his actions. Be a goddess when he's around, and be very happy doing my things when he's not around. So no more me texting and calling and begging him to be with me. He even comes often and with gifts and surprises too. He will come around and want to be around you as he is happy to be with you, not because you want him to be with you. My husband now is nothing but wanting to see me happy and tried his best to always make me happy. Let's talk to enable you to observe more and act wisely. Things have changed significantly since March 2018. After barely 1 month, and I'm having the best life with my husband now, and so does he. I'm a second wife, and his first wife was from his same Arab tribe. He received tremendous pressures from his mom, his first wife, and family members because I'm an outsider. They're not allowed to marry outside their tribe, let alone a foreigner like me. But since I practice all what you taught me, it has become natural to me now, and he's now treating me even better than before we were married. I owe you this happiness, Kat. I sincerely do. God bless you. Thank you so much, Kat. I'm now his rock and loyal supporter and his sanctuary. Never thought I could do it, but I did it. It's amazing that she only did it just in barely 1 month, in less than 1 month. She turned this upside down. So ladies, the lesson in this is really a lot of times in our relationship, we have to put aside the ego. Okay, the ego always seek specialness, always seek to be treated with like a queen, like nobody else matters but me, right? And I understand you need feel to be cherished, but at the same time, you wouldn't be cherished by your man if you lure with vinegar. If you want your man or your EUN or whoever you are dating to adore you, to cherish you, to treat you like the queen that you are, you gotta lure him with honey, not with vinegar. So first of all, you have to put aside the ego. And I know it's not easy, right? But one has proven that it's doable. So it also shows that my teachings work for any culture. There are tons of Middle Eastern women or Muslim women who come to me asking for help, and a lot of them are not capable of what most of us can do, like rotation, like living together before marriage. It's a no-no to them, right? So it's a very different culture. And a lot of them are getting into like polygamous relationship of marriages. This is what their culture is. This is what is. Remember, I don't judge. I just accept reality as it is. Some cultures approve and practice polygamy. Some other cultures are very strict about monogamy. It is what is. So it's not about right or wrong, good or bad. It is about reality. So, and my mission is to work with every woman from every corner of the globe, because my message will help every human being, not just women, every man and woman on the surface of the planet, to become more whole and more wholesome, and to lead a happier life, free from stresses, burnouts, depression, and suffering. So that is the bottom line of what I teach. Okay, and recently, ladies, we were so shocked and saddened by this news of two huge celebrities suicide, Kate Spade and Anthony Bourdain. I didn't know Kate Spade. I don't know how, because my best friend who lives in Indonesia knows who Kate Spade was, and I said, Kate who? I didn't know her at all. So yeah, because I'm so sheltered, I'm not into shopping or branded products, so I don't know. I didn't know her. That was the first time I ever heard the name Kate Spade. But anyway, apparently she was huge, right? I'm sure you probably have one of her handbags as well. I don't, so I didn't know anything about her. And the other one is Anthony Bourdain, whose show actually I really love. I mean, I don't watch his show religiously, but whenever it's on, because he has it on, I would usually watch it with him, and I really enjoy it. And in fact, Anthony Bourdain is one of the reasons why I sped the process of going to Japan, because his most favorite city in the world is Tokyo. So I was telling myself, man, I was looking for, for some tour to take me there, but always, for some reason, I wasn't lucky enough to find anything yet, or just the timing wasn't right. So finally, thanks to him, in one of his shows, he was showing all these culinary experiences in Tokyo or Japan in general, and I was also, I really have to go. So I decided to go last year. That was when I was also broadcasting from Tokyo in my kimono, remember? So you can put all those videos on my page. Look on videos, okay? So, and I used to joke with Joey, because Joey thinks he's a foodie. I think I'm a foodie, but to be perfectly honest, neither of us is a foodie, right? So, but Joey and I usually joke. So who is more foodie between the two of us? And he claims that he is more of a foodie than me. And I said to him usually, "You're not a foodie at all. You don't even eat sashimi. You don't eat sushi." Even though he really loves this new Japanese restaurant that in the neighborhood that we go to very often. After depriving me the whole year, now he is the one who cannot help going there every week. So he drags me all the time. He eats the rolls, which also has raw fish in there, but he wouldn't touch the sashimi, he wouldn't touch the sushi, because he is a hillbilly, really. So he always is more of a foodie than that. And I would say to him, Anthony Bourdain, if he was that, would turn in his grave hearing that you claim to be a foodie. What a disgrace to say that to him. And whoever knew, now he's dead. It's very sad. And to a lot of us, we can never understand. We can never relate. These people seem very accomplished in their life. They seem to have everything. They seem to have a perfect life, right? I'm sure a lot of you think, oh, I would like to have Anthony's job. Like, pretty much, I live kind of like his job too, like traveling from one place to another, and it's fun. If you love traveling, that is something you want to do. So, and you're wondering, how come you got all the fame, the money, the success in the world, and you're still not happy, and you're still depressed, right? So, I would like to touch a little bit why people are depressed. Why do you think? Maybe some of you who are listening to this broadcast are also feeling depressed every now and then, at least, right? And in my line of work, I deal a lot with depressed women, or at least very anxious women. That's why, this is an endless gig to me, because these women always going to need my advice till the end of the world, till the end of time. This line of work is not gonna expire ever. So I know very well, dealing with thousands of women the last 7 years, I think 7 or 8 years. So I know their state of mind. I know how their mind works. I know what their expectations are. I know the buttons that that can set them off if you push them. Because I know all of this, and I can be a very great help to many of you, because I've been in that situation like that myself. Not depression. I'm lucky because in general, I'm really a very happy person. Even though there were times though after my split from my ex-husband that I got really anxious for at least 4 years. I live in a state of anxiety, and it wasn't fun. I totally understand the feeling when you are feeling kind of lost, like you being thrown in the sea with no lifesaver. So I'm here to be your lifesaver in a way. Don't take it literally, okay, ladies? Because I cannot save you. Nobody can save you but yourself. I can only show you the way. I lay out the path that you can take on, okay? And by the way, ladies, I've been having this cold for the last week or so. So pardon me if I'm coughing or I have to blow my nose sometimes. You see? So it's been almost a week. So if it doesn't stop, then I'll have to go to see the doctor when I get back to Java. I'm sorry. So even officially, I'm not a mental health practitioner, but my line of work deals so directly with mental health issues. That's why at the very foundation of my methods or my teaching is this signature inner work called Journey Inward. That is, when I first ventured into the business, there was nobody else in the business that talked about inner work. I was probably the pioneer in the matter. I was the first to talk incessantly about inner work, about, relationship will only reflect the kind of relationship you have with yourself. If you're not happy with yourself, if you're not happy about yourself, then you will not be happy in a relationship. So my emphasis has always been on inner work. And it proves to be so widely successful. With all the success stories day in, day out, every single day, I receive thank you notes and letters and emails from around the globe thanking me for the lives that I've changed through my teachings. And it shocked me, actually. I didn't expect that at all. It was beyond my wildest dreams to be known as someone who changed people's lives through dating or relationship advice. And because of that success, these days you hear inner work being thrown around so liberally by everyone in the niche, which is great. I think that's a positive thing, that people now focus on the inside, not on the outside. A lot of coaches now no longer put emphasis so much on the guys, how to find the right man, relationship ready man. It doesn't matter if these guys are relationship ready, if you're not ready yourself, if you're not Miss Right yourself, you won't recognize Mr. Right, even though he's staring in front of your nose, staring in your face. You understand? So how to be the Miss Right? To be the Miss Right, basically, you have to be happy first, unconditionally. Unconditionally. There's no such thing, oh yeah, I'll be happy if my EUM, claims me, or my EUM marries me. I'll be happy if I get the next better job, or I'll be happy if I have Anthony Bourdain's job. I'll be happy if I have a beautiful house or a sports car. You see, happiness is unconditional, because if it's conditional, if it relies on external factors, it will be taken away from you. Guarantee. Guarantee. Why is that? Why? Because life is impermanent. Nothing stays the same. Anything that is conditioned, whenever those conditions change, and they will change, then your happiness will also crumble together with the loss of or the change of those conditions. So, just be happy. You don't need a reason to be happy. When you're happy, you will invite happy people around you. You will invite happy men around you. Even though probably this man is not a very happy person, very grumpy, very poised, in fact, very toxic with other women, but because you bring out the best in him, he becomes a better version of himself thanks to you. You see? How to be happy? That is, of course, the questions, right? So how can I be happy unconditionally? Because to me, it seems very elusive to be happy, let alone to be happy unconditionally. A lot of you might say that, right? So, as I say, in general, I'm a very positive, upbeat, and happy person. Even my ex used to say this about me, that he said it so lovingly, something about you that I love so much, that you always wake up happy. Not everyone can do that. And that was probably one of the best compliment, like the most heartfelt compliment I've ever received. Also, my EUM, the reason why I was in this business before Joey, that was, so we had like a situationship for like 10 months. He said the same thing. You're so happy. A woman like you is far and few between. That's what he said. That is also one of probably the most flattering compliments I've ever received. So I want you ladies to also receive that kind of compliment. And many of you actually have, thanks to abiding to my teachings, right? Many of you have become goddesses, have become these unicorns that men think that we don't exist, but we do exist. Cat ladies exist. Cat ladies are very special and very rare, thanks to that. Okay? So, now, back to the subject of depression. Why do you think you are depressed, ladies? Do you know why you're depressed? You would say, oh, because I was depressed because my father died, or my dog died. I was depressed because of my divorce. Which I understand. Externalities, tragedies. Sometimes we can help them. And sometimes they can create this havoc or this loss of balance in our lives, right? As I told you, my divorce was one of, I think it was the most painful thing that I had ever experienced in my life. But thanks to that, I am where I am today. Without that extreme suffering, that intense suffering for 4 years, I would never find this blessing. I would never find my true self, in fact. Okay? So if you are right now going through this very like heartbreaking moments, like a breakup or a divorce or the death of someone you love, the death of a parent or a child or your best friends, please do not despair, because there is light at the end of the tunnel. And I'm proof of it. I didn't only come out safely in one piece, but I came out on top as well. I am on top of the world right now. I can say that I have a very happy life. In fact, my life is perfect. It's weird that I say that, but my life is perfect. And I don't mean to make you jealous by saying that. And the perfection doesn't come because of the money necessarily. The money is just icing on the cake. But the perfection comes because I am unconditionally happy anyway. So no matter where I am in my life, I am happy and I will be happy. Okay. So what did this experience teach me about depression? Depression is, this is my own words, by the way. So if some of you got offended because it doesn't really like fit with your idea of depression as per the DMV, what is it? Not DMV. I think that psychiatrist body in America, or whatever you call it, I forgot now. So or the medical definition of depression. So just pardon me, okay? So this is my own words of what depression is. Depression is the state of being identified with the illusory self that is resulting from layers upon layers of thoughts, or amalgam of thoughts that have been fossilized in your consciousness for decades since you were in the crib. So, and these fossilizations comes from cultural, social, and religious upbringing that creates the collective us, and then in time leaks into the conception of your personal self. So the personal self and the collective self are very interrelated. You could see in your own life what you are identifying with. Say, if you are a European, you identify with your European culture, correct? If you're Asian, you identify with your Asian culture. And the same, if you're American, you identify with your American culture. That creates the collective us, or the collective I, which means us, we, right? And from that collective us, we derive our sense of I. It could be, other than culture, as I said, social, also religious, especially religious, right? That is why in some cultures whose religious norm is very strict, everything is colored and defined by this religious conditioning. And over time, over millennia, people forget that all this structuring of the self, of the I, is very relative. That doesn't make the real you. You no longer are able to discern that these are just conception. they have no real substance, no real essence to it. And most of you don't even realize that most of your waking lives are colored with thinking, with thoughts. For you, thinking is you. Your thoughts are you. There is no gap whatsoever between you and your thoughts. When I first learned about this notion, and I was so shocked, really, that there is no I actually in reality other than thinking, because I couldn't distinguish myself from my thoughts, because to me, myself and my thoughts are me. I think all the time, that's who I am. And I thought thinking is how people are supposed to live their lives. People are supposed to go through life with thinking, dwelling, judging, evaluating, with these constant mental chatters in their heads. I didn't know any better. So first time I learned about this sort of cessation of thoughts by Krishnamurti and also Alan Watts, I was so confused. I couldn't figure it out. I didn't understand at all. So if you don't understand anything what I say today, it's to be expected. So don't get discouraged. It's okay. Right now, you have no idea that all your waking lives are so colored, are so tainted by thinking, by willy-nilly thinking. Okay? So, people who are depressed, they are buried under layers and upon layers, or amalgam, or fossilization of thoughts. So if these are thoughts, depressed people are here, below thoughts, buried completely. And people who are aware, people who are awakened, they are here. They're above thoughts. You see? This is what I teach. So you can always hover above thoughts at all time, because this is the state of being that I am experiencing right now. Okay? So when I say these things, this is not philosophy. This is not theory, ladies. I'm living it every waking day of my life. It's quiet up here in my head. It's quiet. So if these are thoughts, and most people are here, I'm here, above thoughts. And I'm aware of my thoughts 24/7. When I go to sleep, for me to go to sleep, for example, is also a meditation. It's a form of meditation. So even when I go to sleep, I am aware of things going through underneath me, which are this ripple of thinking or thoughts or reveries, whatever the mind can come up with. And so much that I no longer are affected by anything below this. So the thoughts can be like a big wave. It won't touch me because I'm up here. I'm just in a constant state of watchfulness, constant witness. So can you also come to that place in which you are aware 24/7 of your mental state, of your inner reactions, of any movement in your field of awareness? Absolutely. That is why I'm here and teaching it to you. Yes, it won't happen overnight. And it didn't happen to me until only 3 years ago, ladies. So don't get discouraged. These things doesn't come on autopilot. It doesn't come handy or automatically, because it is very, it's very elusive. Very few people are in the state of constant awareness of their of any movement in their mental space. And that is the very definition of an awakened being. Someone who is aware at all times, someone who is steady and totally equanimous. That's why when your thoughts here and you're here, you can no longer get depressed. You can no longer suffer, because you see the very nature of suffering. You see the illusion of suffering. because it comes from the illusion of the self that doesn't exist other than what arises in your mind moment to moment that you wrongly identify as you. But your thoughts aren't you. Your thoughts are very impersonal. Your thoughts are products of millions of years of evolution. So the function of the brain is to churn thoughts, and it has nothing to do with you personally, because everyone experiences the same thing. We inherit this. This is etched in our DNA to have this hyperactive brain. And in our path of evolution, humans are supposed to figure out at some point that they have been duped by these movements of thoughts of the mind that is just so illusory. There's nothing real in it. This movement of the mind creates template from which to see everything out there. Okay? So when you are already at that stage of being aware that whatever you see is so dependent on your filter, on your template, you no longer react because you understand. It's just perception. And perception is very conditioned. And anything that is conditioned is not permanent. Anything that is conditioned will change, will be taken away from you. That's why you will no longer be swayed by this extreme polarity of dualism between right and wrong, good or bad. A lot of you are very opinionated about certain stance or opinions, as if your stance is or will be correct at all time. But it's been proven in so many different ways, either with science or with philosophies, that nothing is right all the time, as nothing is wrong all the time. So whenever you have come to that place of understanding the illusion of duality, you're no longer going to take side in a permanent way. Like, oh yeah, I'm a liberal, so I hate everything about conservatives. And I'm a conservative, I hate everything about liberalism. You'll be right there in the middle. You could be swaying left or right, depending on needs, depending on necessity. So people like us, people like me, we are very spontaneous. We are not ideological. We have no belief. We have no ideology. We are just responding to situations moment to moment according to what is natural and according to what is necessary. Okay, so it's what is necessary for me to be harsh on you, then I'll be harsh on you. That's why a lot of you project your ideal that, oh, Kat is supposed to be nice all the time. No, I'm not supposed to be anything. I can be anything moment to moment as I see fit. If I need to be harsh, I'll be harsh. If I need to be soft, I'll be soft. Right? So I've transcended the mind. Hence, I have transcended duality. There is no fixed conception of right or wrong in me. That's why I can accept everyone. I can accept all cultures, even though cultures that is probably most alien to most of us, right? Because there is judgment and there is discernment. The heart of being discerning is the understanding that everyone is right wherever they are in their journey, because they can't help it. Yes, even people who are going around killing people, that is where they are in their journey. They can't help it. There is no could have, would have, and should have. Because if there is should have and could have, they would have. Do you understand? With that kind of equality, understanding, you can respond to situations moment to moment as necessary, not as per your belief in your ideology, whatever it is, left or right, up and down, south or west, south or north or west or east. You understand? We become everything. We embrace everything. We integrate every part of ourselves. So we become well-rounded. So the very definition of well-rounded is pretty literal, meaning you no longer have chips here or chips there, chips dent here, but you are well-rounded because you have reintegrated every part of you, the good and the bad, the sacred and the profane, right? The saint and the sinner. So you are everything. You include everything. You see yourself in everyone, and you see everyone in you. But inside, you are nothing. Inside, you are empty. That is how I live my life. I am empty inside. Not the kind of emptiness most of you are experiencing, obviously, but this emptiness is that absence of stories. Are you even aware that you have stories, that you live your life according to your narratives, the narration of your stories, every waking moment of your life? If you are aware of it already, you are awakened. Okay? So, this broadcasting of the mind is the stories that is through which we perceive everything else out there. We perceive the world. Does it make sense, everyone? So, in order for you to get out of your depression, you have first to understand the nature of the mind. You have first to see and catch yourself when you're thinking, to see what it is like to be thinking as opposed what it is like to be not thinking. Have you had any experience when you are not thinking at all? Probably the majority of you say no, okay? Because majority of you are willy-nilly thinkers. I am a deliberate thinker. I think whenever, only when I need to. And when I think, it's not about the I stories. A lot of people, most of you, think of the I stories 99% of the time. You cannot control it because you are still asleep. You're still dreaming. And the dream is always about the I. Oh, I want to be like this. I want to be like that. I'm not happy where I am. I want to be that person. This person. I want to be like them. I want to be like her. I want to be like him. Right? That is what a dreaming mind does all the time. Never live in the moment. It's always conceptualizing about what the I should be. What the I is and what the I should be. So you don't live life to think about life, but you never live it. You never live in the world. So only when your mind is quiet, you know the experience of living in the world. It's deep, isn't it? By the way, ladies, I couldn't charge, but maybe I could if I move inside. So I have 42% left of battery life. So probably I'll move in a bit. But let me just finish these thoughts about how to get out of depression. So if your thoughts here, this is ripples of thoughts, right? Every day, constantly. This is your mind. Yada, 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 yada. Yup, 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 yup. Blah, 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 blah. And this is you. You are just so bare, so lost in the identifications of this yada, 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 yada. Yup, 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 yup. I. Me. My. It's always I, me, mine. That is your thoughts. Basically, bottom line, boil down. It talks about the I incessantly. And this is your depression. no, this is you. So you're lost, and whatever your thoughts say, you believe in them. You have no power whatsoever to discern that these are just thoughts. They don't mean anything. Don't believe them, right? But hopefully after I say this, you'll be more aware. Next time you're thinking, you ask yourself, do I believe this particular thought or should I not? Right? So, in order for you to get out of that state being buried of thoughts, you first have to separate yourself from your thoughts. So you have to practice quieting and taking a step back from your thoughts, or calming your mind, slowing down your mental processes. That's what you need to do. So you could see for the first time, or be aware or catch yourself when you're thinking, right? Sooner or later, with practice, and when you get your awakening experience, meaning if you don't understand what is the awakening experience, please look at my previous video on what is enlightenment. So I explain in detail what enlightenment is. It's not about having this superpower of parting the Red Sea, or walking on waters, or turning water into red wine. All these legend that probably you've read in the Bible or some other holy books, right? So awakening is basically the understanding that all your life you've been ruled, you've been duped, you've been governed by these incessant mental chatters that make your personal narratives. That's what awakening is. The minute that you realize that you are no longer be an addict of thinking, you're no longer be lured by thinking. The only way to get out of your addiction of thinking is to see what thinking is all about. Because you will no longer being lured by the glorification or the glamour, so to speak, of thinking, because you see its true nature. So you will naturally shy away from any thought that is arising. Thoughts will always arise, by the way. I always say that. It doesn't mean that your mind will completely be dead and silent. Thoughts will still arise, like clouds will always come and go. The difference is because you are above thoughts, they don't reach you. They can no longer affect you. They can no longer hurt you. Because the minute you feel uncomfortable by your thought, you already let it go. You have the power to just let it go the moment it arises. So you become a deliberate thinker, no longer a willy-nilly thinker. That it got lost in your stories for months and years and decades of your life, or basically all your life. That is the story of the vast majority of people. They're lost in their stories as long as they live. They live unaware and they die unaware. So I hope by listening to this class, you will somehow probably be motivated to explore further. And if you want to explore further, please come to my retreat or take Module 1, Journey Inward. It's a very profound, very powerful inner work program, ladies. Okay? So, when you are awakened, you see the nature of the mind. You see the nature of thought, so you're no longer duped by it. Because you can say, I don't want to think this thought. You will just let it go. The minute it arises and it creates discomfort in your physiology, discomfort in your body. For example, angry thought, jealous thought, whenever it arises, it creates some discomfort as a response in your body. You might feel like palpitation. For example, when I'm feeling angry, I knew right away. My heart beat so much faster. My breath became very short. And I knew I was angry. The moment angry thought arises. Because I knew that this is an angry thought, I can make a decision right there, right then. I don't want to think this thought, and I want to let it go. So, bam, they just disappear like that. Bye-bye, angry thought. And I'm going back to calmness. Then I would also probably practice breathing. Whenever I feel my heart palpitates, my breath becomes faster. I take a deep breath and just settle in my body. Do it a few times, and I'm back to my equanimity. Okay, this is something you can practice. So be very aware of the sensations or the feelings in your body. Your body and your breathing is your anchor to always be grounded in the present moment. Okay? So, with practice, whenever you decide, I don't want to no longer think about this thought because it stresses me out, it makes me angry, it makes me jealous, and etc. Sooner or later, thoughts will lose its power over you. And because the nature has been seen, they very rarely come up to create anything that can create discomfort or chaos in your mental space that in turn you will bring into the external world. You understand? Because then you're gonna bring your neurosis into the world, and your neurosis will bring out other people's neurosis. You see the chain effect of not being awakened, of being neurotic, and you understand why we live in such a troubled world. Because people bring their own mental illness, their own neurosis, and affect other people's mental health and neurosis in the process. You understand? Okay. So practice this. Okay. Let me just answer a few questions here. Oh my God. This is from Kathy. My anxiety has been kicking up a lot with a little help in calming it. And this is from Pancha, my best friend. Same here, my mom cannot stop thinking and judging. How to care less and relax. You see, that's exactly what I'm saying. Because you guys are still duped by thoughts, by the mind. You're still an addict of thinking. To get out of that addiction is to realize that most of our thoughts are junk thoughts, and to realize that it is impersonal, that there is no one behind it, there is no I behind it. You know, because the function of the brain, as I said, is always churning thoughts, and our mind, our brain is designed to solve problems. So when there is no problem, our mind will create one, so it can solve it. So once you understand that, then you just can make a conscious decision to just let go of the particular thought that creates, that makes you anxious and makes you stressed out or depressed. Yeah, and of course, I know it's not easy, but it takes practice. Okay. So come to the retreat, Kathy. You've been with me for so many years. You've been sitting in my class for so many years. Every month, you're in a monthly membership. Why don't you come to the retreat and we talk face to face? Maybe in a hot tub. And this is from Silpa. How do you make peace with your past and convince yourself that the bad things with respect to men and others in your past will not repeat? It's the same. The past is a story. That's what I mean by stories. stories always related to the past, either your own experience or your collective experience, like the cultural or religious experience of your people. That is what the past is made of. Okay, so the past is none other than a collection of thoughts, collection of thinking that have no bearings with the reality here and now. Right? You keep it alive by entertaining it and discussing it in your head. So, how to make peace with your past is just by seeing it for what it is, that it doesn't exist. It's an illusion. So, die to the past. Die to the past every breath you take. Not just the past like 5 years ago, 20 years ago, but the past like 5 minutes ago. That's how I live my life. As I said, I always die to the past every breath I take. I die to the past moment to moment. That is basically being reborn. It's like you are reborn every breath you take, because you are so empty inside. You are undefined. You are boundless. You can be anything moment to moment. So you are unpredictable. Okay, this is what I mean, living your life spontaneously, no longer by the rules of the mind, but just spontaneously through direct perception, according to what needs to be done, according to what is natural and easy. Okay, so I live my life naturally, very easily. Hence, I don't stress out. I don't have stresses. I don't get burnouts. I don't get depressed, even though I work all the time. That's it. There's no other reason. This is from Stacy. I'm feeling like I can't completely open up to my boyfriend. There is something holding me back, but I think I am projecting and believing he is the one holding back. Stacy, that is what being ruled by the mind feels like. So you're no longer act naturally, because you create this condition yourself as if you're walking on eggshells, because you're scared for some reason, one way or another. Even though I say, I teach some things like softening of your boundaries, non-reactive, etc. But at the at the very heart of it is really just accepting who you are moment to moment. So even in the moment you feel reactive, and believe me, as I said, I still get reactive sometimes, yeah, with you or with my boyfriend. Even if in the moment I feel like I have to just let it out of my system by screaming, "Shut up!" because he's been so annoying, then I just do it. I do it and I let go, because I accept myself, moment to moment. Whatever expression that I need to do, I accept it. I don't fight it. I don't resist it. I let go. Because I let go, I die to that just momentarily after, and it doesn't create more entanglement. So someone just popped in and say everyone needs Jesus. This is from Christopher. Yes, Christopher, and everyone can be Jesus. So don't be just needing Jesus, but be Jesus yourself. But I know this is blasphemous to most Christian or most religious believers. But someone who is awakened, we no longer use average people terminology. So when we say you can be Jesus, meaning you can be that Christ consciousness. You can embody that Christ consciousness, that kingdom of God. That is why Jesus says, seems like I was being disconnected a little bit. So Christopher, it is a new thing for you. So hopefully you're open-minded enough to learn new things. So when you say things like, believe in Jesus, everyone needs Jesus. That comes from the mind. That is very shallow. That is borrowed knowledge that you inherit from people before you, who are just equally blind and equally unaware. But if you have your religion as a direct experience that coming from the heart, from the very core of your being, you no longer believe in Jesus. You embody Jesus. Okay, you embody the Buddha. You embody Muhammad. You embody every saint and every sage that ever graced the surface of our earth. So that's beautiful, isn't it? All right. Okay, let's see what else. Or not necessarily if the female is grounded and working on herself. Question I've had for a while now. So Kate, how to express feistiness and disappointment? If you have done everything that I teach, you have come to the center, you embody groundedness and goddesshood, you can be anyone you want moment to moment. So when you're feeling feisty in the moment, like I always say, I never have to repress myself because I don't believe in repression. Whatever you repress will go underground and pull the string from behind the curtain. So you become a puppet. Okay? So don't repress, but instead understand the movement of the ego. Why are you feeling reactive? Why are you feeling feisty? If you have done all the work and you're still feeling feisty, you can safely be feisty. That's why I never have to pretend to be someone else. I can be feisty, can be whatever I want moment to moment because I like myself. I accept myself. I trust myself. That is what self-acceptance brings about. The total and complete equanimity. So if you're feisty and you're disappointed about something, you just say it as it is. And the next question, does a man also need to be doing inner work for the relationship to succeed? Or not necessarily if the female is grounded and working on herself. Ideally, of course, everyone does their inner work. But if one person is awake, the other person has no other choice to adjust to their frequency. Okay? Or the relationship is just going to run its course. For example, I bring out the best in my partner as well. Not necessarily that he doesn't mean that he won't be bad-tempered. He's still bad-tempered, but it's manageable because then it will be times in which he will reflect, which is basically what inner work is, right? So yeah, inner work will come also naturally as you become a beacon of examples to your partner, and that will lead them into self-inquiry, self-reflection. That's why it's very important that you are awake and aware. Or if you're not yet, you are at least on the path toward awakening and awareness. So you're still working on yourself. This is why relationship is a great venue for spiritual growth. Okay? Then I have this inner work program for those who are in the relationship called Salvation Through Relationship, which is Module 5 of the Feminine Magnetism program. Ladies, give me a few minutes. I have to move inside. So I can plug my computer because this is now 20% left. Bawa ini. All right. Hold on a second, ladies.
Mau nambah minuman lagi kan?
Nggak tisu boleh, Pak?
Oh, ini sebentar.
Oh dear. Sorry, back. Whew. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, charging my computer now. All right. Whew. It's getting hot in here. So where were we? This is still from Christopher. It's not done yet. Holy Ghost is answer Acts 2:38. Check out blah blah blah. Experience a different transformation. Thank you, Christopher, but I don't need any more teaching on transformation. I've arrived. My life is perfect as it is. So thank you for the care and concern. Oh, sorry. I have to blow my nose, everyone. And Christopher, that is coming from the mind or coming from your direct experience. I'm not interested in mind stuff. I've transcended the mind. I'm not going back there. I don't care about opinions. I'm not interested in opinions. I only care about your direct experience, your direct seeing. Because what I teach is not philosophy. Philosophy is shallow. Philosophy of the mind. The mind deduces. The mind is always incomplete. But what's coming from total understanding of reality, of direct seeing, of direct experience, that is complete. And even though I have to translate it into dualistic words that you can understand, but the reality is not really represented by the words. So don't mistake the moon and the finger that point at the moon. Okay? The moon, the moon is still out there. Okay? You still have to see it directly. Cannot be represented by any picture or anything like that. You understand what I'm saying? This just give you an analogy. Okay, let's see what other questions do you guys have. This is from Shubhetcha. Shubhetcha, I don't know how to pronounce your name. I'm always disgusted by my occasionally need to people please. How do I embrace this trait and stop feeling disgusted? Well, first accept it. If you are in that bout that you are people pleasing, just stop and accept, oh yeah, I'm trying to please somebody. And then just by realizing it as it is arising as you are doing it, it's the first step toward awareness of whatever it is. Okay, as I said, people pleasing not necessarily bad either, because sometimes maybe you have to people please, right? So, but if you make it into like a dogma, something that is permanent, that is unchanging, then that's the problem. So, yeah, sometimes as a human being, we embrace every part of us. Sometimes we need to people please. Sometimes we need to be firm in our boundaries. Sometimes we have to say no. Sometimes we have to say yes, right? Just be spontaneous moment to moment. Okay? Okay. This is from Deidra. Vibes, question mark. Is there anything more discouraging than feeling like, despite everything you're doing, no contact, talk less, don't matter, lean back, That is for naught because I'm not emitting the right vibes. Men will pick up on my wrong vibes. I don't have any confirmed evidence that men pick up on vibes any more than I do. And I've often picked up on vibes and been dead wrong. Haha. Like being ghosted by someone I truly felt a connection with. I was totally wrong. If I'm supposed to believe that, I'm also supposed to believe that non-string attached sex creates karmic bonds, or that men are mind readers. I thought we were supposed to drop those beliefs, and freedom from those beliefs have been so wonderful and freeing. So thank you, Kat. Now I have to worry about men picking up on my vibes. No offense to anyone who finds that helpful, but this is feeling borderline impossible. It's hard enough to do no contact. Now I gotta emit the correct vibes. So we can't fake it till we make it. Men will still pick up on our vibes. Oi, I don't need a psychic. A boyfriend will be cool. Deidra, really, basically just says if you think too much like what you're doing right now, your vibes will be anxious or off. So don't worry about it. Don't think too much. Don't try to analyze everything. Okay? Just be. That's why I don't know if I told you to sign up for module 3, how to lean back in dating and relationship. Because in that module, I teach you how to just be. It's very important in relationship, in dating, in attracting a guy, how to just be and surrender to your vulnerability. Okay, because in your head, you're not surrendering to your vulnerability, and you're not just being, you're thinking. So learn how to just be, stop worrying so much about this. Stop having so many questions in your head. Okay, when you come to me, sooner or later, all those questions will become irrelevant because like it doesn't matter anymore because it's just like creation of the mind, creation of the ego mind, right? Anxiety is also, it's creation of the ego mind. So when you just surrender to what is, whatever that is, no thinking is necessary. You see, most of the time, no thinking is necessary. Even as I'm talking here, I'm not thinking. It just flows naturally. It comes, arises, just sort of, I don't know how to explain it, but I don't think as I speak, because if I think as I speak, I'll be stuttering. Like probably in the beginning of the video, I was like losing my train of thought because I was thinking. You see, thinking is in the way of performance, whatever it is that you're doing. So most of the time you don't need thinking. Very few instances in life that you need to use thinking. Even as I speak, as I say now, it's all just spontaneous, moment to moment. I just be. And words just come, I don't know from where, I just pick them and it come out of my mouth. And very flowing, very simple, very easy. Try it yourself. Stop thinking so much. The same when you're dating a guy, when you go out on a date, stop evaluating that it makes. Okay. From Josephine, wishing you a speedy recovery. Hope you feel better soon. Thank you, Josephine. This is from Laura. How do you lean back in a marriage when your spouse corrects you in public places, even for minor things such as a figure of speech or pronunciation? Sounds silly, but looking for appropriate ammo. Laura, it only has power over you when you care about it so much. And why do you care so much about it? Because you're judging in your head. Because you give this this narration of what he's doing. Oh, I'm always wrong. And I don't like to be wrong. And I know what it is like to be fixed, right? Like Joey likes to fix my English. So sometimes I would say to him, look, do not fix my English. I speak better English than you. I know grammar better than you. Yeah, that is my defense. So I understand. But only when you take it so seriously, again, taking it seriously because you identify with this conception of self that, I'm a perfect English speaker, or I am someone, who just doesn't need to be corrected. Whatever it is that you're telling yourself that makes you irksome, that makes you irritated, if you don't think about it, you don't need to react at all. Just let go. You won't even notice. Okay? So you only give power to something when you care too much about it. So don't give it power. Don't care about it. Okay. Christopher is still not done. Cat is not a licensed consultant or anything. Pastor is anointing man of God and have license. That's hilarious. I want to see Jesus' license. Did the Buddha have license? Did Moses have license? Did Rumi have licenses? All this licensing nonsense. Christopher, just stop it already. This is ridiculous. Licensing doesn't mean anything. I help more people than most psychologists or psychiatrists. Okay, and I have no education in psychiatry. The only psychiatry that I learned is this, basically the discovery of my true self, self-inquiry. That is my education in psychology. Only by through understanding myself, I understand you. I understand all these women. I understand all these men. So I become the man whisperer. I understand humanity simply by the virtue of understanding who I am at the core, who I truly am at the core. And who I truly am at the core is what the Buddha and Jesus has found within themselves as well. Enough said. All right. Thank you. So, how to know if you are seeing things through reactive or intuitive eyes? This is from Renee. Intuition comes from the silent mind. If your mind is always sort of like in this constant state of noises, the static noises that are created by incessant thoughts, then your intuition wouldn't function, because everything that you do is only based on impulses. It's only a reaction over your analysis or your unwholesome thinking, right? And if you're unaware, if you are fast asleep, the vast majority of your time is spent incessantly thinking about non-issues, about stuff that doesn't matter. So how do you know that you react on intuition if you become this ball of raw nerves of reactiveness? You react on every single thought that arises in your consciousness. That's not intuition. That is just average people's reaction to their unskillful thoughts or unskillful thinking. Is that clear, Renee? So in order for you to be intuitive, you first have to silence the mind. And silencing the mind doesn't come from effort. Silencing the mind comes from wisdom. Silencing the mind comes from total understanding how the mind works. So come to my retreat, August 30th to September 4th, or sign up for Module 1, Journey Inward. I'll check the post again after this class, and I will post all the links that you need. Okay? So let's see what other questions we have here. This is from Phyllis. What is the best formula to make a man want to commit to you? I've learned about feminine energy and leaning back and letting him come to you. What if he doesn't? How to express disappointment? Phyllis, be the best version you can be, or be Miss Right first. Then you will never have to worry about a guy committing to you, because no guy would want to commit to you if they like you, because you're so rare, because you are a unicorn because you're a goddess. So if you just found me, stick with my page, because what I teach is the ultimate of all relationship advice out there. I am the last resort. Whenever you find me, you don't need anyone else. I'm sorry to say that, might sound arrogant, and I'm supportive of every coach, right? But there are levels of understanding. Probably I'm the last resort for those who are ready. If you're not ready, you're gonna want to shop around, because then I wouldn't be accessible, because what I say will be so nonsensical. So I'm probably reserved for just those who already have hit rock bottom, who have tried any method under the sun with zero results. Then they are ready to be receptive and for my message, and to be humble and be my student. So I don't know where you are in your journey, Phyllis, but hopefully you're ready for my message. Start with my ebook. That is the basis of what I teach, okay? So basically, by being the right woman, by being a woman who is just happy no matter what, unconditionally, doesn't need a man to be happy, doesn't need externality to be happy, she's gonna be very, very hard to lose. A man cannot afford to lose a woman like that, because not so many women are like that. Okay? So you don't have to make a man commit. In fact, they can't wait to make you his and his only, because they can afford to lose you. That is the best answer for that question. Okay. Let's see if there is. This is from Lee. How to deal with an EUM who suffers from depression. You can, if it's an EUM, you don't want a project. Why do you want to be with someone who is incapable of doing a relationship, right? So it's an EUM, and you still have your rotation, correct? So just put him in a rotation and then enjoy him whenever he can. But, you know, you are auditioning right now for the best man. So don't just settle with any man, and you don't want a project, okay? If it's in a relationship and your partner is depressed, yeah, you can be supportive to an extent, because at the end of the day, only that person can help themselves. You know, you cannot change another person. You can only be a moral support, you know, but you cannot be your boyfriend or your husband's therapist either, because it's not going to work for the relationship. So yeah, help them, you know, help them find help. Okay. I personally more prone toward spiritual help, like what I do, for example. Not so much going to a psychiatrist, because willy-nilly they will just prescribe them or him or you with antidepressants or medications. And I'm not a supporter of antidepressants. For most cases, it's so unnecessary, and it is become now just it's an epidemic in our culture, in our society these days, especially in the West, to just prescribe magic pills for everything, for every form of unhappiness. You know, in the old days, in the Buddha time, depression is suffering. It's called suffering. So depression is suffering. But then, you know, the pharma, the medical field is trying to sort of, I guess, make a fortune out of it, and then making it as if it is an illness like diabetes or cancer, which I don't agree at all. But that is a subject of a different time. This is from Natalia. Thank you for your teachings. I learned so much from the retreat, and I'm lucky to continue the learning on your pages. I meditate at home as much as I can, and it helps when I see the thoughts racing. My self-awareness is improving and improving. Meditation is hard though. For me, it's hard. Thank you, Natalia, and I'm so glad to hear that. Please come back to the retreat. We will be so happy to have you back. And here from Donna Fila. Hi, Kat. I now begin to see myself as I do inner work with the help of your free YouTube videos and your blogs, watching it and read it over and over again, as me being diagnosed before of having the two extreme mental health issues, depression and anxiety. And I had a suicide attempt during my teens. Thank you, Kat, for your live videos. I want to buy Journey Inward and your ebook, but now money is hard still. You helped me tremendously, Kat, in my self-realization. My question is how I would not be tempted by seducing ego. It is the way of having the peaceful feeling I'm not used to. And in the relationship, I just want to ask, I want to know how to know it's time to just say no without guilt. Thank you, Donna Villa. I'm glad that, my free stuff is helping you a great deal already. So, how not to be tempted by seducing ego? Yeah, you only tempted when you believe with all the glamours of the ego is presenting you. Just like when you believe that there is a world out there that is so bright and shiny. That's why then you go through your youth, usually, chasing your dreams, right? Probably you want to be a famous person, a singer, an actor, a dancer, a celebrity, or you want to be Kim Kardashian because you see, oh, how glamorous that kind of life is. But then you learn very soon that it's not what it's cracked up to be. And again, it's proven by the recent two suicides by these two very famous people who also are very successful. It's just not what it's cracked up to be. All these glamours that are being presented to you by television, by the reality show, it's just a demo. It's not real. It's an illusion. Okay? So when you see that, the reality of this seduction, and you stop believing in it, and you're no longer lured by that seduction. Do you understand? It's the same. Seduction is the way of the mind. The mind will always seek for something to grasp onto, because here, what I have here right now is not good enough. So there is something else somewhere, not here, not now, but somewhere in the future or somewhere in the distance that I could be happier than how I am here, right now. That is the belief that the mind grasps onto, that makes you chase those dreams, right? That is what the dreaming mind does all the time. The dreaming mind, hooks a certain something as a symbolism of what I need to be happy, either love, relationship, marriage, or certain man, like your EUM. If I can be with my EUM, if I can father a child with my EUM, I'll be so happy. That is the mind seduction. And you believe totally in everything that your mind tells you. But then you soon find out, the minute you are in that state that you are so longing, that it's not what it's cracked up to be, right? Now you are married to your EUM, now you father a child to your EUM, you're still unhappy, and you still file for divorce. You see what I'm saying? So, but that kind of understanding arises through experience. So you cannot speed up that kind of journey. So probably you are still young. So just go through life without any rules or shoot in your head. If right now in your head marriage is something you want, babies are something that you are after, then you're gonna do it. Nobody can stop you from doing it, from seeing it for yourself firsthand, that whatever it is that you are after, at the end of the day, is not going to be the source of your happiness. Your happiness should come unconditionally, for no reason whatsoever. Then that is what real happiness is. Okay? So in the relationship, I want to know how to know it's time to just say no without guilt. When you are so grounded in being, you always know what to do moment to moment. When you feel in your gut that you want to say no, you would say no with no guilt, no nothing. As I said, when I want to be harsh, I am harsh. But I don't go back and forth regretting what I do, who I am moment to moment. I always trust my own judgment moment to moment. So even though in a moment I am probably being sour, I say no to something or somebody, that's how I feel in the moment. I cannot be wrong for how I feel in the moment. So I'm at peace with whatever I do moment to moment. If later on I found out that saying no or that being harsh was mistaken of me to do, then I could always say, I apologize. At that time, it felt right to say no. At that time, it felt right to be harsh on you. But now, where I am today, right here, right now, it felt unnecessary. So again, wherever you are, moment to moment, you accept it. Even when you regret what you did, you accept that moment also when you are regretting it. You know what I'm saying? There is no resistance. There is no struggle. There is no fight in me. Zero conflict in me, moment to moment. That is what happiness is. That is what living life without resistance is. And that is answering to the next question that is also to answer the next question by Nancy. I would love to hear about how you built your business. By getting out of my neurosis. Because I don't spend any amount of time at all in my neurosis zone. Every waking moment of my life I am dwelling in my genius zone. I have this intact energy that gives me so much leverage to produce so much. And I can leverage my time. So I have the same 24 hours like all of you, but I can produce 3 or 4 times or 5 times as much as normal people because I don't spend any amount of time in my neurosis zone because I fully accept myself. I have no conflict within me. I like myself, I accept myself. So like yourself. That is the key to be successful in life. Just like and accept yourself. Okay? Here, one last question. Hi, Kat. What do you think about feeling the real love? The true one. Is it an addict, though we consciously can rid of in order not to be hurt by a man? Thank you for your wisdom. The real love is the absence of fear and separation. That is what true or real love is. The absence of fear and separation. Anything else, romantic love based on your ideas of what being in love means, that is attachment. That is not love. Okay? So, however, having unconditional love or real love, true love, for someone, necessarily have to be in a relationship with that person. Relationship requires conditions. Love itself is free. Love and like happiness doesn't require any condition. Okay, so the true love is when you are love yourself, when you are not needing anyone to love you. That is what true love is. Okay, everyone, thank you so much for your time and kindness to want to listen to me. So again, I'll talk to you again sometime soon, okay? And I will, if you want to check the programs that I mentioned in this class. I will post it on the OP or the original post later on after this class. Please sign up. And I guess thank you and goodbye. Bye-bye.